Instagram booths. What's up? It's your girl Shaniqua C of Shaniqua C TV. ShaniquaCannonTV.TV. All right. So, how are you guys doing? Today we're going to talk about a pretty special thing. It's called quitting. If you haven't figured that out yet by looking at my news feed or at my, what do y'all call this thing? I don't know. By looking at my profile pics, I'm really big on the word quitting right now. So, as of May 25th, I will no longer be a teacher in the DeKalb County School District. Which is really good because that means I will have quit teaching after 12 years of giving my all to students. Because now is the time to give my all to me. Now, one of the reasons that I've really been pushing this quitting thing is because a lot of the times we give ourselves to everybody but ourselves. And as teachers, that is literally like the job these days, is people expect you to leave college, this Bentley of brains, right? And then to leave life, this broken down jalopy. Like, they expect you to pour every single bit of yourself into their kids versus into living your life. Guys, we got one life. Last I checked, even if reincarnation was a thing, this current life is the only one we got. Okay? And so we need to live our lives the best way that we possibly can. So tonight I'm going to talk about how to quit confidently and to knit the net on the way down. Now, the reason why it's titled that is because I've been hearing recently, a lot of people are talking about leap and the net will appear, leap and the net will appear. Well, honey, let me tell you something. Okay? The net does not appear. Not only does the net not appear, the net doesn't exist. You have to create the net. And what I mean by that is, if we're going to go by some biblical term, then you already know that there's this phrase that faith without works is dead. So you can believe all you want to. You could do vision boards. Vision board. Yeah. My office is the storage closet. Okay. Anyway, whatever. Get away from that. If you believe all of that stuff, all that manifestation, all the manifestation stuff, I'm just going to send the energy out and call energy in. Breathe in positive energy. Exhale negative energy. Okay, cool. That's great. Fantastic. But you still got to do the work. You still have to work. It's great to call things to you, but even when you call things to you, what you gonna do with it? So you still have to do the work. So when I'm talking about leaping, and honey, you could put on your Kango shoes, Kango boots, like Candace is jumping up in the ATL. You can put on your Kango boots all you want to, and you can leap. You can put on moon boots if you want to and leap. I am a huge proponent of leaping, but you gotta have the tools. Because last I heard, knitting requires some tools. So let's talk about those tools that you need to have in place before you leap. Did you hear me? I said before you leap. You got to have tools. Now in knitting, there's a couple of things you need to have. The first thing is you need to have the brains. So you need to have the knowledge of how you do the things that you do. So let me tell you how that translates. Before you quit your job, wait, hold on real quick. This ain't just about quitting your job, guys. This is about quitting your excuses, quitting procrastination, quitting the BS, quitting staying in your comfort. Yes, I'm going to say quit staying in your comfort, because guess what? When you're comfortable, you don't grow, right? So this is about quitting, period. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you quitting your job. So before you quit your job, you need to know what you know. So I highly recommend, super highly recommend, that you list out everything you know. And I'm going to tell you this. Your first list is going to suck. It is. Why? Because you're going to put things like, I know how to add. I know how to read. I know how to write. I know how to, whatever your job asks you to do. I didn't tell you to write down what you do in your job. I said write down everything you know. Okay? Like, that includes some trivia type of stuff, right? So, like, for instance, I have been to Italy. That has nothing to do with what I'm doing right now, which is talking to you. Or does it? But I've been to Italy, and I've been chased down the streets of Italy. And one thing that I know about Italy now is that you don't run down the dark alleyways while you're being chased. Yes. So, how can I relate that? I can totally relate that. Why would you run somewhere that you've never been before without even knowing if it's somewhere you should go? I don't know, that was off the cuff, but it kind of makes sense, right? Okay, bad example. Moving on. But all I was saying is that you know a lot of things, right? You know a lot of things. I know how to bake a cake. I don't know how to bake it from scratch, but I do know how to bake a cake. And this one, I can actually work this one. I can actually work this one, right? So, you know, baking a cake has all these other ingredients. But if you are Betty Crocker like me, it has 3 ingredients. It has butter, it has eggs, it has water. Cool. So, one of the things that I know about baking a cake is that you need all of those because they all taste disgusting by themselves. Like, I've never cracked an egg and put it in my mouth. Ew, I wouldn't dare think about it. Water. Okay, water doesn't taste disgusting. I like water. Water's very good, very life-giving, but it's not sweet. Not at all. It doesn't satisfy that sugar craving. And then butter. I know I've seen people eat butter. What's wrong with you people? I know that I've seen people eat butter by itself, but butter by itself, it's kind of bland and tasteless to me. But when it is put in some kind of dessert, it makes desserts better, guys. I don't make brownies with oil. Like, who does that? I make it with butter. So, anyway, so one thing that I know about that is that when cooking a cake, the ingredients by themselves don't taste good. They don't. But when you put them together, you make something beautiful. Something that looks unlike the things that went into it. And that is how people are. When you bring people together, masterminds and groups and all. Y'all see what I'm doing? You see what I'm doing? I use my cake experience to translate into a metaphor. So how does that help you in what I'm talking about? How does that help you in collecting the store of information that you do know, all these experiences that you have gone through, and all these things that you're expert in? How does that relate? You never know what you need to know to break things down to people on their level. Absolutely not. You never know how something is going to apply to your business. So just knowing a whole bunch of stuff doesn't necessarily mean it's just stuff. There could be some valuable pieces inside of it. So figure out what it is that you already know. And then on top of that, figure out what you're really good at. You're really, really good at. Quick example. So I just completed a course. Not a course. What was it? It's a 3-day workshop. This lady's giving it free. And so one of the assignments is to figure out who your ideal client avatar is. I hate that thing. I really do. But the way that she did it was differently. Her name is Jerika? I don't know. It's something like that. So the way that she did it, which was differently, or maybe I read it wrong and I did it differently, but hey, I'm going to go with it, is she said, look at somebody who's currently in your life. You know them. Okay? Look at somebody in your life who you would want to work with. And by work with, it's the things that you know how to do, that you would want to work with them. And I scoured my brain. Like, I went over so many people, and I was sitting here like, no, I know I helped her before, but I wouldn't want to work with her because she doesn't execute the things that we talk about. I wouldn't want to work with her because she has way too much doubt about herself right now. And so she's, again, not going to execute what I'm talking about. I want to work with her. I've talked to her before, and she implements the things that I tell her. And I was like, yes, that is my person, right? And so I'm going to read directly off my notes. I wrote, so then the next part of that was, after you figured out the person who you want to work with, you then need to figure out what is the one thing that they're going to get from working with you, right? And so that is the part that really, really made me pause for a very long time. And then I realized, well, I didn't realize. I just started writing. So what I wrote was, the main end result I'd like to give her is financial freedom. I was like, yeah. That's exactly the aim, when you're a coach and whatever, that's what you want to give. But my pen kept moving, and it said, delivered in the form of confidence in her gift, in her knowledge, in her appearance. So, as I was writing that, and when I finished, I went, holy smokes, I saw confidence. And I thought back over everything, every encounter, every person, from my clients to my coworker to my friends, every single person. And I went, they all walk away more confident than when they first approached me. I went, okay, wait a second. I really do sell confidence. Like, I'm really good at making you find the power in you. Like, dude, I'm very good at it. Because one of the things that I know is true is that we often can't see ourselves the way other people see us. So I'm pretty good at communicating to a person how I see them and what I see for them. And I also get these divine downloads that I'm not going to go into right now on this live. But it gives me confidence in the answer that I deliver to people. So when I wrote that, I understood exactly what it is. I sell confidence. I help women, especially women, but even men, uncover and rediscover themselves confidently. So when I got to thinking about why it is that I want people to quit, why it is that I want these teachers who are very tired, these zennials, which are the people my age and a little bit above my age. I think it was 1975, 1974. I think it's like 5 years older than me. Who have done everything that they were supposed to do, the school, the good job, etc. And they're still left unfulfilled because they had a passion to do something else. And it's not enough for it to be a hobby. They want it to be their life, right? So the main reason I want these people to quit, not just their jobs, or maybe not their jobs, not yet, because we got to do it intentionally. But the reason why I want them to quit is because I want them to be confident in themselves. If they're feeling the need to quit, if they're feeling the call to quit, if they're feeling a pull somewhere else, then that means they need to get there. They really need to get there. And I know what's keeping them from doing that is fear. And again, we have all these cutesy things, false evidence appearing real and all this stuff. But that's not what fear is. Fear is that you forget. You have forgotten everything that was already revealed to you. You've forgotten every single thing already revealed to you. Because as children, we've had dreams. As adults, we grow up and we have dreams. But we forget them. And we hide them. And we bury them under life. And these teachers and these zennials, a little bit of the dirt gets blown off. They start realizing, this isn't what I want. This isn't what's worth it. They might go, students have changed. But what they're actually saying is my ability to make impact has changed. And so when I tell them to quit, when I'm giving this option of quitting, when I'm telling them, yo, I can help you. This summer in Atlanta, I'm doing an in-person 5-week workshop, 5-part workshop, where I help you walk through and navigate the maze of creating your own business. Hey, Stacy. When I do that, hey, how y'all doing? It is because I want them to live their full life, not with fear, not with forgetting everything that has already been revealed to them. Hey, hi, how you doing? Hi, what you doing? Y'all just threw me off. But because I want them to remember, I want these teachers to remember why they got into teaching. I want these Zennials to understand what it was they were actually striving for. I want people to be confident in pursuing their dreams. And let me take it further, because I'm not talking about just like I dream of being a ballerina. I'm talking about purpose. I'm talking about passion. I'm talking about destiny. I'm not just talking about something you might have got from an edible. I'm talking about for real stuff. All right. And so you got to learn how to knit that net on the way down, but you got to have those tools. So tool number 1, figure out what is in your arsenal. Figure out what you are really good at. Figure out what it is that people need from you. And figure out, I appreciate that. And figure out what it is that, we're going to talk because I'm still up, but you're catching me just before brain, it just died. Okay, so figure out what your tool set is. And then on top of that, here's the second part. And this is the most important part to me. Because I did quit after teaching for 10 years. I quit and then I got paralyzed. I got paralyzed by the fear of possibility. I got paralyzed by the lack of feeling value in myself and in my skills. I didn't know how it was that I could show up for people and make income and impact all the same, because I was no longer a teacher. And on top of that, I also did not understand that when you become an entrepreneur, all your baggage gets opened. So if you feel unworthy, you're going to feel that almost every step of the way. If you feel like you don't deserve to live the life that you want to live, you're going to feel that every step of the way. If you feel like you're angry about something, I promise you, you're going to be living with that negativity every step of the way. So number 1, you got to have your tools. But number 2, you got to clean your closet. You have to clean your closet. Because if you're going to be able to start knitting that net on the way down, if you're going to be able to utilize those tools, then you got to know what you're doing. You got to have a plan. And then you'll figure out how big that net needs to be as you continue falling. But you also can't be afraid of the fall. So if there's anything in your closet, any parenting setbacks that you might have, because that's what I had. I had a mom telling me I wasn't worthy or deserving, in action, not necessarily in words, but I harbored it myself. So after she poured that into me, I was the one left holding the cup, pouring that poison into me as well. So I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to actually leave teaching because I didn't do it intentionally. So part 2 of this thing is you've got to be ready. And the way to be ready is to start cleaning out your closet. So if you need to hit therapy, go to therapy. If you need to start really working through your emotional baggage, you gotta get busy and start working through your emotional baggage. Because I'm going to tell you, one of the reasons why people quit this entrepreneurship thing is because everything, all your skeletons come out and they stand before you. They loom over you like Goliaths. And you, because you're not ready, you don't even have stones. You don't even have a slingshot. You are just standing there by the massiveness of all of it. Excuse me. Because with entrepreneurship, you have to rely on yourself. And if that is something that you weren't ever able to do, you won't be able to live on purpose. Love you too, boo. Mommy life, right? You've got to, right? Tanika, you have to clean your closet, man. You gotta get that broom, you gotta get that vacuum, go Hoover, whoever. You've got to get to cleaning that closet and start taking out those skeletons and throw away the ones that don't serve you. Because they will all show up. You'll start comparing yourself to other people. You'll see people who started running at the same time that you run take off because they cleared out those skeletons. And then you're going, why am I not as good as them? You don't, you will not understand what the why is. You will not understand what's keeping you stuck because you don't deal with the skeletons. And I found that with myself. I absolutely found that with myself. I was going, I don't know how to scale. I'm stuck. You know, I'm trying to do this and nobody's buying that. Nobody's doing this. And I was feeding myself. Like I said, I was holding the cup. I was telling myself, nobody's buying it because it's not any good. Or even if it was good, well, there's no if. Like, guys, my stuff was really good. You know? It was like, nobody is buying it because they don't see how good I am. And I'm going to tell you, that is a huge thing I carried from childhood. My mama don't see me. You know, she doesn't know how amazing I am. And that's the same stuff that I brought on my clients and stuff. They don't know how amazing I am. I'm the best thing they ain't never seen before. They're not paying attention to me. Why are they paying attention to her? She's mediocre. And if you start tearing people down, that means you got a lot of stuff to do with yourself. And while I wasn't necessarily tearing them down, in my head I was. Because I was comparing. And that's because I had that skeleton I needed to deal with. And now that I've fed that bone to the dog, so to speak, I can leap, and I'm leaping with intention. And I'm loving where I'm going, and I'm loving what I'm doing, and I'm loving who I'm meeting. You won't meet negative people when you clean out your closet. Let me put it this way. You'll meet negative people, and you'll know who they are, and you know how to keep them away from you. But you'll meet positive people, and your hands will be open, and you'll embrace them because you too have become positive. So those are the two main things that you need to do. I know this started going on a little too long. In order to quit confidently, in order to knit that net on the way down, you got to have your tools, but you also can't have that fear with you, so that you can make sure that you knit that net. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and log off. This has been great. I got to talk to Stacy before I go to bed. It's test time tomorrow, day 2. So teachers, don't be afraid, honey. Do not be afraid. You have got to, you can make that impact somewhere else. You can make that income definitely somewhere else. But when you put those two together, mixed with your passion and your purpose, as well as your power, you're going to make profit. And you can do that. But again, check your skill set and clean your closet. All right. So I'll see you in a minute, Stace. Bye.